All right, so again, welcome everyone. We're going to try to get you guys out as soon as possible. I know it's late. This is one of the later webinars, so we want to be conscious of everyone's time. Again, if you have any questions, please go ahead and raise your hand. Steve Bennett is here as the moderator tonight helping us go through everything and answer some of the questions, as well as being able to ask questions through the question section of your screen. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I believe Neil is on the call, possibly. If not, hopefully he'll join us later. One second. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started right now. This is just a quick agenda. Like most webinars, I'm not going to sit here and read through all the slides. These will get sent out tomorrow, or I'm sorry, within the next 48 hours. I'm hoping to get them out tomorrow, along with a couple of the other information. So if you missed something tonight, there is that option to review it tomorrow as well. So this is just a map, Towson University, and you can see how close Loyola is to Towson. Loyola Blakefield is in the top left corner, which is where the swimming venue will be again. But everything else with Special Olympics will be, with summer games, will be at Towson University, same as in the past. This is just a close-up map of Towson. It kind of shows where everything is. A new thing this year is Lot 20 will be where the block party is again, parade staging and law enforcement, same as last year. Lot 21 this year, in the Towson Center, guys. The Towson Center will have a YAP demonstration. Steve will talk a little bit more about that later. YAP, for those of you that don't know, is the Young Athletes program. Lot 21 on Saturday, weather permitting, will be where Olympic Park is, as well as the dance. Merchandise will be sold there, and family hospitality will be housed there as well for everyone on campus. This is just this is a close-up map of Loyola Blakefield. Knott Hall is where the swimming will take place, same as last year. So what we're going to do this year, because of all the issues we had with parking last year, there will be no parking on campus, okay? Parking will be for volunteers and a possibility of 1 to 2 passes per delegation. That's a big if, though, okay? Right now, it's just for staff and volunteers. As you guys know, last year, parking was a huge issue for us. We had so many people come, we had people parking in the neighborhoods, and we don't want that happening again this year. So this year, for parking, families, delegations, even if you're day of, you must park at Towson and take the shuttle over. We will have more shuttles than we had last year. I spoke with George about it already, and he has confirmed that we will have more shuttles than we did last year. So we won't have those issues. If a shuttle is full, wait for the next one. In the morning, they are going to be on a continuous loop, pretty much right after another. One leaves, it drops people off at Loyola, and it's coming right back. They're not sitting there at Loyola. They're coming right back to Towson. Something to tell the families, we want coaches, athletes to be on the shuttles first. If there are athletes waiting, please make sure that your families let the athletes on first. It's most important that we have the athletes on the buses and the shuttles to get over from Towson to Loyola. Okay? Obviously, we want the families there as well, but it's most important to have the shuttles, the athletes over first. So please make sure if you're sitting there and you have family members waiting to come over, if there's athletes waiting, those athletes need to come over first. Okay? Please make sure you get that to your families. Again, just like last year, do not bring lawn chairs or camping chairs into the gym. We will have plenty of chairs that you can use, same as last year. We will, when you get there, you'll set up your little area for your delegation, same as last year. Please not take extra chairs just to make a border. Okay, make sure every chair that you take, you're actually using. I know I've always said it, we've always said it's first come, first serve, but please, please, please be conscious and don't just take chairs to take them. Make sure they're actually going to be used. Okay, we have a very large swimming group. We will have a lot of chairs, but just be conscious of that, please. If someone can sit on the floor, put a towel on the floor and sit on the floor, okay? These are pictures. We used them again last year. Just pictures of the pool deck. Same pool as last year. I just want to add these in again for those new coaches. And then the gym area will be used for awards and seating for all areas. So there are 4 basketball courts in the gym that are going to be completely full. The award stands, if you look at the bottom right picture of the gym, the award stands are going to be at the very bottom of the picture, actually on the court that's not being shown in this picture. There are 4 courts. The awards will take place on that first court right by the pool lobby area. So you have, when you walk into the building, you have that big lobby area where you have the pool straight ahead, and then you make that right, and there's the gym. Awards are going to be sitting right there. Instead of where it was last year, at the far end of the gym, we're changing it up a little bit this year, and we think the flow would be a lot better. If you look on that bottom picture with the gym, the yellow star on the left-hand side of the picture is that hallway where the athletes came from the pool to awards last year. So if you remember that it's that long, skinny hallway, that's going to be the pre-staging area this year. So athletes will get called up to pre-staging. That's where Kevin will be. And they will wait there. Once their whole heat shows up, they'll head out to the staging tent, which will be new this year. We're having it outside, but I'll get into that in a little bit. But that yellow star is where the pre-staging is. The purple star is where we're going to have a big projector screen that is going to be listing all the divisions that are being staged. So along with the app that I've already sent information out on, we're also going to have a large projector screen that will be able to show who is being called, just like the app is. So the schedule, and again, these times are approximate, but Saturday, June 10th, we'll start around 8 a.m. We're hoping to get done around 4 p.m. We will have a coaches meeting at the venue immediately following the competition. I'm not sure exactly where in the venue it's going to be, but we will let you know. So please make sure you have at least one coach at the coaches meeting. Okay? It's not going to be a long meeting, but we want to have a quick coaches meeting to sum up Saturday and get ready for Sunday. Sunday, we'll go approximately 8 to 2 at the latest. We think we'll get done a little bit earlier than that, but everyone should be done by 2 p.m. on Sunday. This is the order of events, which is the same as that was given out at the preseason webinar. Nothing's changed. We have Saturday, then we have Sundays, so just review these. Make sure If you have an athlete swimming in back-to-back events, please, please, please write that in the comment section. Send me an email. Just let us know. We need to know if someone is swimming in back-to-back events. I'm going to be doing a check. Neil's going to be doing a check, but it's always good. You know your athletes. You know what they're swimming in. If you know that they're swimming in back-to-back events, please, please, please email me and let me know ahead of time what the events are and who the athlete is. Okay, it's very, very important. So this is the Summer Games master schedule. Thursday we have delegation registration and the HOD meeting. None of you guys probably have to be in that unless you are the HOD as well, but usually coaches aren't. Never know. Sometimes it happens. So the HOD meeting will be at Towson on Thursday. So if you are an HOD, please come by yourself. Please don't bring anyone else. It's not the largest room, and we have a lot of HODs, and staff will be there as well, or I'm sorry, management team will be there as well. So please be sure if you are coming for the HOD meeting that you are the HOD and coming by yourself. On Friday, and again, I'm sorry if I'm going through this pretty quickly, this will get sent out within the next 48 hours for you guys to see again. So Friday, June 9th, we have the cheerleading competition at Towson Center. Lunch on Friday is only for the delegation, the cheerleaders. If you have an athlete that signed up for cheerleading, they will receive a lunch on Friday. If your athlete is just there, they will not receive a lunch on Friday. They will have to pay for a lunch somewhere else. Okay? Family hospitality is at the Towson Center. Tentatively, most likely will be there.
Yeah, the family hospitality, this is Steve. Sorry, I was moderating and answering some questions, so I apologize. The family hospitality on Friday will be at Towson Center in the lobby during the cheerleading competition. And then throughout Saturday and Sunday, it will move out to Lot 21 in the Towson Center parking lot area. And that's the one location that will be located on all of campus. We're looking at the possibilities of also having hospitality at the off-site venues. That's still to be determined at this time. And I'm sorry, where did you leave off? Okay. So then, again, on Friday, going down through the schedule, dinner will be the same place it's always been in Susquehanna Dining Hall. There will be a dance demonstration of Special Olympics athletes and their peers in the adjacent room in the Potomac room. It's a dance group, not to be confused with cheerleading or anything else, but it's just some more entertainment and to go to support the athletes who are doing that exhibition. The block party will be in Lot 20, same as last year at the CQ Arena, and then we'll move in from for the parade and staging the athletes and delegation members at that point. Merchandise will also be available there on Friday, and then we'll have our coaches meetings. The staging for the parade of athletes, again, will be in Lot 20 after the block party, and then we will all move into the CQ Arena for the opening ceremony, and we'll actually do a live feed of the cauldron lighting, so everyone is to remain in the CQ Arena throughout the whole entire opening ceremony. And then, again, we ask your help with this. We've asked of all the coaches at each of the webinars to please help with your delegation and keep everyone in their seats until your area or county program is notified through the PA system for dismissal, so that we can have a nice, organized dismissal to the buses in order to get you guys back to your housing facilities. On Saturday, again, breakfast, same place as usual, the dining hall at the University Union. Again, at 7 o'clock is when the buses will start going to the off-site venues. We did have a few questions to see if the buses could leave possibly a little earlier. We will take a look at that and talk with Towson to see if that's a possibility, and you'll be notified, and we'll also notify the HODs. So follow up with your heads of delegation to see if any adjustments have been made to the transportation start time to go out to swimming venue. Again, as noted, the family hospitality will be on campus at Towson and Lot 21, and swimming and softball offsite are to be determined at this time. We will have some healthy athletes present. And again, in Lot 21 at the Towson Center, that's where the block party, Olympic Park will be on Saturday and Sunday, where merchandise will be, entertainment will be. We'll have food vendors with limited service for purchasing any meals. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the big change this year, ladies and gentlemen, is the dinner on Saturday will be at Lot 21 at the Towson Center. Famous Dave's has come on board as a sponsor for this event, and will be providing the food. It will be outside in Towson Center parking lot number 21. Don't go to the dining hall because you won't be fed for dinner. Please make note of that. Again, we will go to the dance right after dinner, and that will also be the same location outside in Lot 21 at Towson Center. If you have a chance, make sure you a short walk over to the Towson University softball stadium to check out the softball home run derby with our participating athletes that are participating in softball, obviously. It's a really good time if you haven't seen that before. So the biggest announcement of the evening for the athletes anyway is the theme of the dance has been approved, and it is the 70s era. And I'll give you a little bit more detail about that in a few minutes. And then just to note, the family reception, same places in the past few years in the CQ Arena Concourse on Saturday evening. And just a reminder, that is only for the family members of the athletes. It's an information gathering, an exchange session with the families pertaining to situations, education, housing, finances, etc. So that is not for the athletes. The athletes should be out hanging out with their peers at the dance, etc. Again, moving on to Sunday the 11th, again, breakfast in the dining hall, buses taken off to offsite campus at 7 a.m. Again, we'll look at the possibility of leaving a few minutes earlier, and then the competition on site for the other competitions and other sports. And from 9 to noon on Sunday, the family hospitality, again, that should be Lot 21. I apologize for the misprint there. And again, swimming and softball is to be determined for family hospitality at off-site venues.
All right, so we've had some technical difficulties, which I apologize for. Neil is on the call but got muted and can't seem to get on the call. So I'm going to go through this and hopefully I get it all correct. And Neil can text me if I misstep. So staging will be in a tent outside this year. So like I said previously, the pre-staging area, instead of having chairs and everything set up in the gym this year, we're having pre-staging area they're going to meet by that hallway where the athletes came in from awards last year. And so they're going to meet there. There's going to be some chairs there for sit-in. Once their whole heat is there, we're going to have escorts take them to the staging tent, which will be located outside. I have a map on one of the next slides to show everyone where the tent is going to be, but it's going to be a large 20 by 30 foot tent, give or take. So it'll be plenty large for staging. We're hoping this way it will take away from some of the athletes sitting for an hour or more during staging and pre-staging. So we're hoping this will kind of make it go a little bit faster. Athletes who are not at staging when needed will be disqualified from their event and not be able to swim in another heat, okay? Please, please, please have multiple people use the app, have multiple people looking at the screen, and have multiple people looking at the heat sheets that will be given out, okay? It is extremely important that you have your athletes there on time. If If not, they will be disqualified. All right, we have a question, so.
Jack, if you ask your question.
The question I have is, we are bringing our team up with our portion of the Upper Shore team up on a shuttle that is provided by Kent Center. Can we drop everybody off at the venue and then take the shuttle over to Towson and have the driver ride back on the shuttle?
Yeah, that's completely fine. As long as he doesn't park your Kent bus on Loyola's campus, I don't see why he can't drop you off and then head over to Towson. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to be back on mute. Thank you, Jack, for the question. I had another question real quick about the staging. Will there be a restroom near the staging tent? We actually have thought about that, and outside we will have a wheelchair accessible porta-john that will be located right beside the staging tent. Thank you for the question, Margie.
If I can back up for a moment and just mention something about staging and pre-staging.
Go ahead, Neil.
Good. One of the things that we're trying to do is we know that to kind of keep more in line with what happens at the other venues, we are kind of cutting back the size of the pre-staging, and pre-staging is more going to be that gatekeeping role of getting people lined up and collected to then be escorted to the staging area. So we're relying on technology, like Melissa mentioned, the screen and the Remind app to do most of the announcing of what we are, who needs to report and when. One of our goals in doing this is twofold. One is it's much easier to communicate this out, and it doesn't tie everyone to physically having to be inside of the gym. The other goal is we're trying to address, some of the noise and some of the confusion in the staging gym, and we felt that if we can find some other means to communicate that information, it might be a little bit more, it might be a little quieter for some individuals, and the other part is it allows people to not, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to be in the gym to know, okay, this group is now being collected at staging. So hopefully that's a smoother process for everyone. It is something new, and it's something that we're going to grow into, and we will tweak as we kind of work through it. But our goal is, to kind of improve the way we communicate, and just to create a better environment for everyone, whether it be in the gym or whether it be somewhere else where they choose to wait for their staging call.
Okay, we have a few questions we'll try to get. I'll go alphabetical order here. Carol Camacho, you had a question. And
Carol, go ahead.
Carol.
Yes?
Go ahead,
I'm
Carol.
trying to figure out how to sign up for the Remind app.
There's going to be, there's a slide right here. If you're looking at the computer, it's right here. I'm also going to attach this document, the actual document that I have the screenshot of, to the webinar, and it tells you exactly how. If you don't have a smartphone, or if you don't want to download the app, you will go to B, and you just text the message at SOMD Swim to number 81010, and you're automatically going to be signed up.
Okay, so this will be, you'll send this slide out too.
I'm sorry?
This slide will be involved in your printout?
Yeah, I'm going to attach it to the printout. You can do either A or B on this to sign up for the app, or sign up for the notification. Sure.
Thank you for the question, Carol. We've got another question. Carl Beard, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, I think you mentioned earlier that there's also going to be a paper copy that we can get as well if we don't have a phone.
Yeah, same as last year and all previous years. We'll have one copy of the condensed cheat sheets in the delegation packets when the head coach checks in. So you'll have one copy of the condensed heat sheets for each delegation.
Okay, because with Baltimore County, we're split. It's one team, but we're split into two different groups. So is it possible to get an extra sheet for Baltimore County?
And email, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Carl. I think we had a few more questions. Let me scroll down here. Jean Eisenhower, go ahead with your question.
Yes, at the venue, will there be handicap parking? We have a swimmer who will be coming as a day of athlete, and I know he'll be coming with his crutches and his wheelchair, and I have 2 people with disabilities in my family.
Send me an email and we'll talk about it, but all the shuttle buses are handicap accessible, and they have the wheelchair. They're all wheelchair accessible buses. So
Thank
we're
you.
asking for everyone to still park over, but send me an email, Jean.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Real quick, I think we had a few more questions. I want to make sure we have it all. Okay, I think we had all the questions answered at this time. So we'll move forward with the webinar.
All right. Neil, do you know what slides are on? Webinar in front of you?
I believe I do. We were talking about the Remind app, so we're at slide 13, talking about the projector screen, the awards in the front of the gym.
Yep.
Okay. So as Melissa talked earlier when she kind of went through the venue map, we reversed the locations of last year, if you were present, where we had staging, we're going to place awards, and the award stands will back up to that glass window, and we will stage for awards inside that kind of little classroom area or walkway area, and then emerge through. That gives us a lot more space for the rest of the gym, for families to spend time, because we've minimized the size of pre-staging. There's a lot more space for people to spread out and wait for for the events. Talking about the skills events. For the skills events only, coaches will be allowed to assist through the staging and moving the athletes through the pool deck. It is only those skills events. There's no other event. So I don't want there to be any confusion that I get to work through and take my athletes through this. It's just those skills events. The other part is we have a designated area for the coaches on the pool deck, and we do expect coaches to remain within those areas. It's the pool deck is a small space. We have a lot of volunteers who are have assigned jobs, and it allows us to conduct the event in an orderly fashion, to maintain that area for the coaches and the spectators without interfering with the officials and the timers and the staging that's happening on the deck, etc. So we ask everyone to please follow that, and we expect that no one is going to try to skirt around that to create a situation that kind of is not fair to others. Melissa's already talked about the Remind app and signing up for it. And the next slide talks about, shows where the staging tent is going to be on the outside. And we talked about the movement flow. Just a couple reminders. Please make sure that in the GMS entries, you use the comment section to denote any issues that impact either an athlete's ability to perform a stroke as it's defined in the rule books, or any special needs that athlete may have that impacts lane assignment or entry into or out of the pool. For the latter, we will do our best to accommodate those situations. And we need to know about them beforehand. It's not fair, on Saturday or Sunday, if, someone shows up and says, oh, I need the lift, and it was never noted, it was never communicated. When we go through and, if we were to make the lane assignments and the athlete leading the lift is in lane 4 and we can't make a change, it's not fair to everyone else to kind of distract and delay what's happening on the pool deck to make an accommodation that could have been done prior to the game. So we ask you please to communicate that to us so we can make sure that we can do our best to accommodate everyone. Melissa alluded earlier to athletes in back-to-back events. One of the things that we will be doing to the best of our ability is once we get all the information and all the registration information, we'll make sure that, like I said, we'll do our best that if someone needs a lift, we'll try to leave lane 8 open the division before and perhaps a division after, so that way of the event where someone is needing that lift, so we can continue competing while the athlete is using the lift to get in and out of the water. One of the other things that we're going to try to do is we will do our best to identify athletes in successive events and try, again, as much as we can to, if it's back-to-back events, put them in the first divisions of the first event and then our ability of the last divisions of the subsequent event. But even that's very difficult just because of the spread of the numbers. But we will attempt to accommodate that. I think what else?
Well, hold on. Hey, while you're thinking, we have a couple questions.
Sure.
So we'll go ahead and do that.
Go ahead.
Okay, Scott, you had a question?
Yeah, I do. With regard to the limited parking at the venue, huge, none of the 12 athletes that I have swimming are going to be traveling up Saturday morning. And so basically my instruction's going, and I guess the question is, do they have the ability to drop the athlete at the venue and then go to Towson and catch the shuttle? I mean, it's going to be, with the event starting, with the swimming starting at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'd be worried if they went to Towson, parked, and then tried to hop a shuttle and get back in time for their events. So, I mean, will they have the ability to drop the athlete at the venue?
So we try to stay away from that just because we don't want people to get in the way of the shuttles that are bringing the athletes over. I mean, we can't stop you from doing that, but we can say preferably no. But does that make sense? Like, we don't want the people to get in the way. So if we have too many people dropping off their athletes on the morning of, they're going to get in the way of the shuttles, which is going to hold up the people at Towson who are doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just, I mean, the parking, that's just a huge curveball that was thrown at us. So I think it's just going to be...
Well, the reason we're doing this is because last year we lost a lot of volunteers. As you might remember, we were scrambling for volunteers first thing in the morning, and a lot of the volunteers got to Loyola, Blakefield, and saw that there was no parking, and they weren't parked on the street and walked up there, and they left. So that left us stranded.
No, I remember, and I understand completely. But it's okay. We'll try to adjust. But thanks.
All right, Leah. Sorry about that.
Leah. Along with the projector in the gymnasium telling you what division and event is up, will there be vocal announcements?
We're going to try to keep those to a minimum.
So that's why we have the projector screen and the papers.
Okay, so will there be that loud, obnoxious music?
No.
There will be some music.
There will be the loud, obnoxious music.
Okay, I mean, you know what you're saying is that you've got music and you've got announcements, and the music is more important. Yes?
We're trying to go a different way this year. The music is so it can keep people awake and keep people a little bit entertained, and that we're trying to move to the app and the projector screen plus the papers that you're going to have to make it a little bit more streamlined and a little more efficient than trying to talk over everyone talking with the
right. You should not have that music. The music, people put their own earphones on and listen to their own music, or put earphones on not to listen to the music. What's more important, music or announcements?
It's just some background music.
Leah, this is Mike. You make a valid point. We'll talk amongst the team and see what we can do. At a minimum, I'm sure we can lower the volume on it, if nothing else.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we had one more quick question, hopefully. Carl Beard, go ahead with your question.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, wait just a second.
All right,
now go ahead, Carl.
All right, yeah, I just want to go back because I'm a brand new coach. Can you give me a definition of the skills event where the coaches can actually be in the staging area? What is a skills event?
Those are the assisted, unassisted, flotation, and kickboard events.
Okay, I kind of assumed that, but I just wanted to be sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so if everyone looks at their screens now, we have an aerial view of Knott Hall, which is where the pool is, and the staging tent is going to be right outside the pool. So if you look at the red arrows, the shorter the red arrows that's pointing towards the building, that's the pool. Okay, so if you see the big green roof, right to the left of that is the pool. So we're putting the tent right outside the pool, right over that little driveway there. So it's going to be right outside. It's going to be a short walk from the building to the staging tent, and then from the tent to the pool. And they're going to go, if everyone remembers, there's a door on the side of the pool by lane 1, goes directly outside. And that's the door that the athletes will be coming in from the staging tent. So they're going to be coming from the tent directly into the pool deck to be seated at the pool. All right, Neil, we are on slide 17. If you want to go over all this.
Sure, absolutely. I mentioned the comments earlier. One of the things we started to do last year, but we did it informally, is now a Special Olympics rule for swimming. Please mark athletes on both arms with heat and division number. That will assist us greatly in identifying athletes and getting everyone in the right groups and keeping them in the right groups and getting people in their lane assignments. Something that happened last year that we hadn't seen to the extent that occurred last year is we had a fair amount of athletes who did not, got through staging, got onto the pool deck, and took a really inordinate amount of time to get into the pool. And we had one athlete whose parent had to come and throw the athlete into the pool, which was completely unacceptable, and was really disturbing to a lot of the volunteers who watched it happen, and I'm sure the spectators as well. So, we try to understand that it's an potentially exciting event, overwhelming event, but we have a schedule, and we need to make sure that we go through that. When the starter calls the group to step up or step in, if the athlete is not able to follow that instruction, and we will give a little bit of wait time, we will disqualify the athlete and remove him or her from the venue, so that the rest of the race can go on. So like I said, we mentioned this year because we saw it happen a lot more last year than we had in prior years. Mentioning, because of our reliance on, and our use of the Remind app, we don't have people necessarily tethered to the gym area. So, you know, if you're looking for a quiet area, that you can go up to the cafeteria, not only for lunch, but, you know, to kind of be out of the gyms. The one thing that we want to make sure, though, is that if you're going through the halls, that the athletes are appropriately dressed and dry. So that is important. On to slide 18. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We're going to go through a couple questions real fast.
Carl, go ahead with the question.
Well, I have a question that I didn't actually hit the button for it, but anyway, my question is, if you have an athlete that is confused during the event that they're actually doing, the coaches are into that area, are they able to go over there and to remind that athlete that, hey, you're doing the backstroke?
No, I mean, once the athletes are in staging, the stagers will announce it numerous times. Volunteers will announce it, as will the officials. So the coaches, you know, once the athletes go through the pre-staging process, the coaches are not to join them, other than as we noted earlier for the skills events.
Yeah, because I got one that's kind of muted and has difficulty hearing, and sometimes he might be in there supposed to be doing the backstroke and starts out doing the freestyle. Okay.
Okay, Alan, go ahead with your question.
I don't think I can ask it. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can ask.
Oh, okay. The biggest problem I've ever had in all the 22 years is athletes and awards being called to either pre-staging or staging. Since there is no huge pre-staging, how will that athlete be escorted to wherever they go in staging or on the pool deck? There's a lot of times their heat might be on the pool deck. So it's not really back to back. It's
close enough, Alan, and that's a valid concern. Is that if the group has already been staged, we want to do a better job on our side. And Melissa mentioned it earlier. If you know, as you report for the first event, let the stagers know, you know, this athlete is in a division, you know, 7 groups down from here, which could very well be, you know, stage on the pool deck when the first event is completed. And what we want to make sure that we do is we communicate that through. We let the escort know, you know, this particular athlete is not to go to awards with that first group, but is to report to the next division for competition. No one will miss out on receiving an award, and you know that athlete will be called to the award stand twice. It might not be with the entire group of that first division's event, that first event's division, but at least that way, you know, we're not causing confusion while we're looking for athletes and you know, getting behind and, you know, making everyone crazy. So that's one of our focuses this year, is to do a better job of identifying those events where, you know, and like you said, it's not potentially back to back, but one is staged while the other is competing.
Thanks, Neil. And I think I'll try to do a better job with my parents, making sure that they're on top of that too, because they need to remind me to remind you. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question, Alan. We have another question. Just 1 second.
Sorry, we're having a little technical difficulties. Leah, go ahead.
Hi. The door that leads from lane 1 to the outside to the staging tent, where will the EMTs be? That's where they were last year.
No, the EMTs were at the back of the pool. This is going to be the side of the pool. They'll be in the same place as they were last year, in the back of the pool.
Okay. And where do the 25 start? What backstroke freestyle? Where are they? Is it at the deep end or a shallow end?
Everyone's going to finish at the same place, so the 25s will start at the end opposite the blocks.
So is that deep?
I believe that's a shallow end.
I believe it's shallow.
They start in the shallow. I need to know this because I have someone who freaks out when they have to start in the deep end, and I don't want that to happen.
Same as last year.
I'm sorry?
It's the same as last year, and I'm about 99% sure they start in the shallow end, which is because the blocks are in the deep end.
Okay, thank you very much.
So we're going to try to get Carol. We tried earlier. Oh, there we go. Carol.
Yes.
Do you have a question?
When leaving the pre-staging area to go to the tent outside, is that going to be feet friendly?
Sorry, say that again.
Is that going to be feet friendly? Will most of them have bare feet? Will they be able to walk across it?
We're asking everyone to report to pre-staging with their flip-flops or shoes or whatever footwear. Yes, and once we'll make sure that we have the laundry baskets, because that's a good question. There's going to be a fair amount of walking, and we don't wish for people to be in bare feet for them. So thank you for that question.
Okay.
All right, so let's move on. And first thing on here is the appropriate equipment. So as Neil said, everyone that reports to pre-staging must have something on their feet. Flip-flops, shoes, something to cover their feet because they will be walking outside. So again, everyone knows Kevin. He's done pre-staging for longer than I have been around. So please make sure the people that are helping you keep your athletes going and being on time, talk to Kevin, work with Kevin. The special needs athletes, we've gone over this before. Put them into GMS, same as we've said. The divisions will be posted. I will send them out in an email at Friday on the 9th at the latest. I'm hoping to get them out sooner than that, but you will receive them Friday at the latest. So print out as many copies as you want. You will receive the one copy in your delegation packet, but if you need extras, please be sure to print them out ahead of time. Neil, you want to talk about alternates?
Yes. Sorry, I flipped one slide. I'm one behind you. For the relay teams, you have to register your alternates beforehand. Obviously, that alternate needs to be part of the team, but you can activate your alternate leading up to that event, just because we understand that with more athletes, it's more of a challenge to do. Questions on that?
Doesn't look like it.
Good.
Steve's answering your question on the thing. We'll go through questions again in a minute. It doesn't look like anyone's raised their hand that we can tell.
Okay, great.
So the resources that you will receive in your delegation packets, same as always. You'll get the delegation report time sequence, which is all your athletes in order by time. You'll also receive the delegation report that lists the events by each athlete. Okay? You'll receive all of this in your packet, at least one copy, maybe two. So you will have these along with the condensed cheat sheet.
Okay, I'll give you, this is Max and Steve. I'm going to give you a couple just general summer games updates for the benefit of everyone. Friday dinner will be in the dining hall. As we mentioned earlier, the block party will be in lot 20 on Friday. And then the Olympic Park will be in lot 21. Again, lot 21 is the Towson Center area. Lot C is the CQ Arena where the opening ceremonies takes place. Again, we'll have some entertainment, some clinics, and some art activities, and some food vendors as well. The parade staging for all delegation members for the opening ceremony will again be in lot 20 at 6:30. And once we get into the opening ceremony, we've asked everyone to please make sure that you stay with your delegation and wait for dismissal. So we'll stay there through the lighting of the cauldron. We're actually doing a live feed of the lighting of the cauldron into the CQ Arena. That should be nice and exciting this year. And don't worry about the information we need from the heads of delegation by June 2nd. Other than if you want to nominate any individuals from your swim program to be the members to carry in the banners for the county program, make sure you communicate that to your head delegate. A couple things about the transportation. Again, if you're riding it on campus, you are able to stand. Once those shuttles leave campus heading out to softball or swimming, you must be in your seats. All of the shuttle systems do have wheelchair accessibility and lifts, so no worries there. And again, if the buses are crowded, just be patient. Again, we talked about it. We'll talk to Towson University and George, who runs the transportation system, about a little bit of an earlier departure. But again, we have added some more shuttles heading out to swimming. Same thing on Saturday. Again, we'll start making the loops there, and they will service the housing facilities, taking everyone to breakfast. Then those shuttles will start moving off to the off-site venues. And again, that loop will start in the Union Garage area, same location as last year. They will be marked for off-site venues. Just make sure you get on the proper shuttle. And again, there will be a shuttle from 7 a.m. through the end of swimming competition. We have a kind of a time frame there, but again, if competition for whatever reason is delayed or runs a little bit late, no worries, the shuttle systems will continue to service all members of the delegations until the end of the competition for that day. Again, for those of you, if you want to pass along, if you are going to any of the activities or other venues on Towson University, please park in lots 13 and 14. And again, we'll have shuttles running throughout campus, and then some that will be running specifically from lots 13 and 14, which is by United Stadium, and just making a quick loop to hit the athletics, bocce, and Towson Center venues, and running right back up to the parking lot area. So again, we'll have those shuttles running throughout the summer games. So basically the same thing for Sunday. Nothing much different there. One of the things we do have as well, and I don't think there's much need for it, but it is an option for individuals who use wheelchairs, who are walkers, for assistance. There is the number there, the 410-704-RIDE. That is a paratransit transportation system provided from Towson University. If you need that, it's kind of like a taxi service. If you need that, just be aware you have to give at least 20 minutes in advance of the time you want picked up. Not 20 minutes before you want to arrive at your destination, but again, 20 minutes in advance of the time you want to be picked up. And again, just a reminder, all shuttles do have the wheelchair lifts. Some general information for family services. Again, hospitality will be located at Towson University in the Towson Center lot 21. We are looking at the possibilities for family hospitality at off-site venues. But again, at this point, it's just the one that will have servicing all of summer games at Towson University. We'll send out a family fax in the upcoming week or two. That will go out to all of the families who have registered information with Special Olympics Maryland. Again, the family reception Saturday evening in the CQ Arena Concourse. There will be merchandise available throughout the summer games. Again, that will be in the block party in Lot 20 on Friday, and then the Olympic Park in the evening on Saturday during the dance and other activities there. They are looking at the potential to have that merchandise sold at the off-site venues for swimming and softball as well. Meals, just a reminder, lunch you're on your own on Friday. The only individuals that will be served lunch from a delegation perspective are those that are actively registered and participating in the cheerleading competition that begins at 10 on Friday morning. All delegations staying overnight will be provided the dinner on Friday and Saturday. With the reminder, the dinner on Saturday is in Lot 21, not in the dining hall. Again, Lot 21, Saturday dinner. And again, with the breakfast will be available as well. Again, we talked about the vendors. Again, these are guesstimate prices. It's basically to give you a ballpark range. There will be limited availability for those, so just to make a note that that service will be available. Control center, just so you know, in case of extreme emergencies, but we do ask that you work with your head delegate to contact the control center if needed and when needed. But just for information purposes, that is at the United Stadium on Towson University campus on the top level in the Minigan room. The delegation registration will be in the University Union on Thursday, the 8th of June, and that's when the head delegates will come in and get the information provided for summer games, as well as the shirts for all delegation members to wear during the opening ceremony on Friday evening. The housing facilities we have this year are the towers C and D, and they're pointed out on the map, again, that you can have a chance when the slides come out to review that. We also have Towson Run and Douglas area for the delegates to be housed. Your head delegate has been working with Jane Dunn with all the housing requests, etc. So if you have any questions about where you and the athletes that you're supervising are staying, please contact your head delegate, and they have that information. Just a reminder to everyone, though, please make sure you turn in your keys upon checkout on Sunday morning. We don't want to have to hunt anybody down and charge anybody for any lost or non-returned keys. So, again, just make sure you have everyone's keys and turn them in to Towson at the front desk of the housing facility on Sunday morning. That concludes the slides and webinars for tonight. I know Melissa is now the moderator, taking them and answering some questions at this time.
So we'll go through and answer a couple questions. If you have a question on the screen, please raise your hand, and we'll go through and make sure we get everyone answered. Jack, I know you asked a couple questions in the question box. Do you have any other questions? Jack?
No, you answered the questions.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Jack.
All right, Karen?
Yes, my computer crashed part of the way through, so I'm not sure if this question was answered or not. But for the parking, you were saying that coaches are not going to be able to park on campus this year on the off-site? That's
correct. We don't have enough. There's not enough parking. We want to make sure that the parking is for staff and volunteers. Coaches are going to have to ride the shuttle over with the athletes.
Okay. But what about those first races, like making sure, because in the past we've had a lot of trouble, especially for those long races, to get them there on time, because if the shuttles are running late, especially on Sunday morning, the 1500, they have to haul all their stuff and get to the venue before their race. Is there going to be enough time to be able to do that?
So we are having more shuttles than we had last year, which will help with that issue. And we're going to talk with George, who's in charge of the shuttles and obtaining the shuttles and the schedules and everything, to see if we can start a little bit earlier, shuttles earlier to get all the athletes over in time.
Okay. Because tougher. All right.
Leah, did you have a question?
I don't understand why the coaches can't. I mean, some of us have physical disabilities, and to go over to Towson and catch the shuttle is going to be a bit difficult. I don't want to be special.
Parking is so tight over at Loyola, as we found last year, and we want to make sure all the volunteers are able to park there.
Yeah, volunteers. Okay, the volunteers are very important. Okay.
Carl?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I guess, reiterate or make sure that I'm clear. So all the parking for the coaches, athletes, and family for the swimming is at the Union Garage. Is that what I read?
Yeah.
Right, so, and that starts at 7 a.m.
Yeah, but I would try to you get there a little bit earlier to make sure you're on one of the first shuttles.
Okay.
And make sure you're on the bus that goes to Loyola, not to Cockeysville, because they both meet there. So make sure you're getting on the Loyola Blakefield bus, not the Cockeysville Middle School bus, so you're not going out to Salt.
Okay. And finally, all athletes have to have some kind of shoe wear. Will they be notified with the flyer that you're going to be sending out, reminding them of that, or do I need to make sure I send something to all of them?
All communication with your athletes is up to you.
Okay,
we'll reach out to you guys and send you the slide, but all communication to your athletes is through you.
Okay, so they're not aware that they have to have flip-flops or any kind of shoe at this point.
Well, so at your next practice, you should have, what, at least 2 more practices probably before summer?
I don't have any more practices. But I'll get it. I'll find a way to get the word out.
Okay, work with Len Duffy, your area director.
That's how
he'll be able to.
Okay, I'll mention that to him and get him to send them all an email to confirm, make sure they know to bring flip-flops or some kind of footing. All right, that was it. It's a Union Garage, and it must say Loyola Blakefield.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Carl. Oh. Sorry, having some technical difficulties. All right, Carol. Sorry, now we finally got you. What's your question?
On the heat sheets, what time on Friday will they be submitted to copy down?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
The heat sheets that you're going to send out email, about what time will that be?
It will be before Saturday. Oh, Friday. I'm going to try to get out before Friday, but sometime Friday. I can't give an exact. Sorry.
Okay.
But I'm hoping to get it out earlier in the week, by at least Wednesday, if I can.
That'd be great.
But it will definitely be by Friday.
Okay.
Leah?
Green. And so sorry, but I asked. I don't
Leah?
No, that's not me. I hit it off.
Okay. Are there any other questions? If you have any questions, make sure you raise your hand so we know, because everyone is muted. Okay, if there's any other questions that you think of later, please feel free to send me an email. You all should have my email. If not, you'll get my email from the when I send out the slides. I'm hoping to do it by tomorrow. All right, so everyone have a great night. And thank you again for taking the time out to join us. I apologize we went a little bit over time. So have a good night. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know.